He made me bleed. Hey guys, it's Windham, back for... Let's see if she does it.
I don't know what you're talking
about. Thanks guys for tuning in. Back after a long absence. And I'm here with Heather, also known as Miss Guns for Hands. And there's a link to her channel down below. What would you say that you usually do for new people that don't know who you are?
I just stream video games, a lot of Destiny, but recently less Destiny. So.
Before you guys go, how did you guys meet? She's actually one of Cole's really close friends. And so we've known each other for a while.
I've known Cole 5 years.
Yeah. They went to high school together. And that's how they met. And then she's been, in case you guys have missed it, she's been on the guys' channel a lot recently. And yeah, so Ozzy is here, and he does not like this new ring light setup that I have going on.
This is Cole's Bearded Dragon.
Cole's Bearded Dragon. Anyway, so we are here because we just marathon, just like everyone else, we just marathon Stranger Things. And we're here to discuss our first impressions. We're basically doing a half in the bag right now, except not. Do you know half in the bag? Do you like Red Letter Media? Shout out to y'all.
He's like playing with his toe. Like, does anybody buy me toe? It's like a little claw. It's like a powing. Does anybody buy me toe?
So, I would say overall, like, first impressions of the season were that it was really good. And they obviously set it up for a season 3. What would you say?
Oh, they definitely set it up for season 3.
Yeah.
It very much upset me.
Yeah, and don't be here if you haven't watched it, guys, unless you just really want spoilers, and, you know. But overall, I would say that if you enjoyed the first season, I feel like you're going to enjoy this season. But I will say, first impressions, man, I enjoyed it. But it didn't give me this, like, childhood sense of nostalgia and wonder like the first season did, if I'm being straight up.
Well, that one episode you really didn't like.
Yes.
It was with the
we'll
sister.
Yeah, we'll get there. But, I mean, overall, it didn't give me the same sense of wonder that the first season did. Like, the first season, you're brought back immediately to, I would say things like The Goonies, E.T., I mean, every similarity between, you know, like 70s and 80s nostalgia films that we kind of all grew up with, piggybacking on it like older siblings and also our parents growing up, it had that, and it kind of did its own thing, and it kind of spun off from the first season, which was nice, and it went in like a new direction. But I kind of feel like there were 1 or 2 episodes that weren't necessarily needed, that were just kind of fluff and filler, if that makes sense.
I liked them.
She liked them, that's great, but I'm just saying...
I thought they were cool.
I thought the only reason that they had them was because they were trying to set up a possible villain for a 3rd season, or a possible other type of conflict.
Shelter him in the shadow. He's the Lord of Shadows.
I mean, it had a strong start. It had a very strong...
It had a very, very good start.
Beginning. I mean, as everyone knows, it started off basically like a year after the events, I would say after the last episode. And I think the last episode was like 1 month later. 1 month later. And, you know, we kind of got a good view of what everyone is doing. Steve and Nancy are preparing to go off to college. And Nancy is kind of saying, I don't want to forget about everything that happened in our past. And Steve is going, well, I want to go and be an adult, and I want a future with you. Let's just forget it happened and be happy about it. And Nancy's kind of going, I can't, because that shaped who I am as a person. I can't just forget. So I thought that was interesting, because everyone hated the fact that she chose Steve at the end. Just because everyone was like, why'd you choose Steve?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Even though he's had a ton of character development in the first season, and he's proved himself to be an upstanding gentleman.
He just doesn't quite cut it.
He tried harder this season.
He did. He did try harder. He wasn't as much of a jerk. He was still a little of a jerk, but not as much. I mean, honestly, most of it was Nancy kind of being a hoe.
Yeah, Nancy was they kind of switched.
A little bit. Nancy was kind of playing more hard to get. You know,
Nancy's like, I've had enough of your game, Steve.
I'm not playing this. And you weren't here for me when my brother was dealing with stuff and went missing last season. You weren't there for me when my friend went missing. You're still not there for me. You don't really care. So I'm done with your games. That's my impression of Nancy.
When he smashed that camera in season 1, I lost all respect.
When he did what?
He smashed that camera.
Right. He did smash the camera. He was a bit of a bully. So, I mean, you can't really blame him when Nancy falls for someone that she kind of has more in common with, as far as being different.
Yeah.
Because he keeps talking about the fact that she's different. So it's like, well...
I just don't like Nancy as a person.
Yeah, I don't really like her either. I mean, I think she's cute.
Yeah, she's pretty.
She's pretty. But, like, you know, and I feel like she did serve a purpose because all the other kids were kind of too young to really have any type of, like, sexual plot lines in the first season. It kind of took away from the innocence of it. So if they had an older sister and they brought her in, it did the divisive, haha, here's the complications of sex, young children. Here's how it can ruin your life.
Because it has to be there.
Right? You have time on me? I don't really think Nancy grew too much.
No.
She still feels guilty about Barb. And she realized that she and Steve don't have much in common. But honestly, like, Steve kind of made that decision. Like, when he found out, like, oh, she doesn't love me.
I don't know why she was ever with him.
I don't either. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think it was just she felt popular. She felt she had, like, a lot of attention. And I think the thing is he was such a popular guy, and she's always been so different that she's just never had attention. I mean, think about the fact, like, Barb was her best friend. I like Barb, but I'm sorry, she's not exactly, hi, I'm Steve.
I would rather have Barb than Steve.
Yeah, Barb is a lot more loyal, and her hair looks a lot less complicated.
Yeah, I don't like his hair.
I would say Steve had character development. He had love, he lost love, he had unrequited love.
He definitely did, because he ended up taking Dustin under his wing.
Yeah, and that was really cool. I actually really enjoy how they did that.
Sweet.
I always enjoy kind of like a brotherly bond between characters that aren't related. I feel like they had more of a brotherly bond than Jonathan and Will in this. I mean, you saw a little bit of it with Jonathan and Will, but half the time Will was like a possessed zombie.
Because of season 1, I'm gonna have to disagree, but in season 2 alone, yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, they obviously have it, they just didn't focus on it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, is they kind of focus more on building up Dustin and Steve's relationship, which I really enjoyed.
That was interesting.
That was interesting. It was kind of adorable.
But and then you also, Dustin had that little crush on
Nancy.
Her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the end, they ended up dancing.
Yeah, they danced together. She like stood up for him at the school dance.
It's kind of weird because, you know.
Why is that weird?
Steve. Was that the same Steve?
What?
Because he took Dustin under his wing, and that was his ex-girlfriend. And Dustin fixes his hair all nice and goes and dances with. He's like, I stole your girl.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Dustin as a character, I really enjoyed his growth. He's learning about girls. He's learning about himself. He is definitely a leader. And when he doesn't goof off too much, he's definitely the leader of the group, I would say.
He was pretty dumb with that baby animal,
yes, he was dumb with the baby animal, but I think he wanted something that was his. Because, I mean, if you think about it, Mike had something that was his all last season. Mike had 11, even though Mike is not the natural leader. Mike is, like, kind of the natural nurturer of the group. He's not really the leader. And he had this, like, secret, and he got to make all the decisions regarding the secret, and he got to have this bond, and then all of a sudden, like, you think about it from Dustin's perspective. You know, Max was paying more attention to Lucas.
And Will has everything else going on.
Yeah, Will is cuckoo, and Mike is all hung up on 11. And so I feel like Dustin was kind of like, hey, nobody's really paying attention to me, and I want something special and mine, and I want something that people remember me for. And I don't have the no teeth no mo.
I can't believe you didn't realize it was a baby Demogorgon though.
Well, like, I mean, if you think about it, they've never seen one, and he thought it was a pollywog. It was his stupidity. I think it was just wishful thinking.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's that thing Will coughed up.
Yeah, I know, but he didn't see that. Will coughed it up in private.
Yeah, but
he didn't go, hey guys, look at this giant booger that came out of my throat.
It literally looks like it came straight out of the Upside Down.
And that's true, but so does Ozzy.
Yeah, Ozzy came out of the Upside Down. He has a dummy gorgon.
I'm trying to think. And Dustin eventually choosing to kind of embody Steve, where he chooses to not care very much. But I think it shows he's trying to not care and be like Steve. And then when he's rejected by all those girls at the dance by trying to act like he doesn't care, he does care and he's more sensitive and it breaks him. So I think though, even though he's going to try to be like Steve, he's going to have a lot more emotion. And I just don't think he's going to be a ladies' man. I just don't think he's going to be a lady killer. I think he's too kind and considerate.
Crying, and Nancy was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I know. I think he's kind of too kind and considerate to really be a Steve.
You know, Dustin is gonna get a beautiful woman today. I hope he does.
Oh my gosh, no, he is like the purest person. I follow the actor on Instagram, and he's so pure. It makes me happy inside. Lucas.
I don't like Lucas.
You don't like Lucas?
I haven't liked him since season 1. I
actually liked his growth in season 1. Didn't really like him, but I liked his growth. Him fighting with his friends and then deciding to be a badass. You know what I mean?
I just kind of think he's hot-headed all the time. Like 24/7.
That's true, but I feel like Maxine showed his weakness.
Yeah, she'll tame him back down.
Yeah. I think he is like, oh, I can't be hot-headed because I have to impress this girl and take care of this girl. You what?
He probably shouldn't have told her any of that stuff, though.
I don't think so either. I'm kind of curious as to why they even brought her on board, other than the fact that...
She really didn't do anything.
I know, they're dealing with...
I kept thinking something with her brother was going to come up, but it didn't.
That was a weird setup, and we'll touch on that in a minute. But Lucas, it was basically just like, I like a girl now, watch me be more sensitive and kind of take care of someone.
That's about all she was
So now it's not all about Mike and 11. Now I get some attention. I kind of felt like they just kind of threw it in there because they could.
Yeah.
Again, if they'd taken out Max, they would have had like 6 episodes.
Really, if you took out Max, you're not missing much. The only cool thing
about Max, you don't miss anything plot-wise, but they spent a lot of filler time on her, trying to develop her as a character.
So in the arcade, she goes there every time her brother and her get into a fight. Right before she walks in, you know?
Yeah.
And so her name on the machine is Mad Max.
Because she's angry?
Because she's mad while she's playing. She does good at video games while she's playing, and she's mad. You realize that?
I feel like they could do something with her that I would like.
I liked her, but they didn't
do
anything with her.
They didn't do anything with her, and we thought for a long time, because her brother kept going, it's your fault we're here. It's your fault.
Like something cool was gonna happen.
You did it. We were kind of like... Is she wrapped up in this somehow? And then they didn't even bring her parents in until like the last episode, and that was just kind of weird and forced. And then you're like, oh, so she's not some orphan child with her brother. She
I thought they lived alone in that house.
You what?
I thought they lived alone in that house.
Me too. And I even told her, I said, for them to live alone in this house, it's really well kept, and they've got some pretty flowers out front.
Right. Yeah.
And then it turns out they lived there with their parents. Mike didn't really develop. He was just
kind of absent a lot.
He was just kind of sad that 11 was gone.
And he was trying to talk to her every day. That was kind of cute.
Yeah, trying to talk to her every day, but Mike was gone. But honestly, to be fair, he had a lot of growth last season.
Yeah, the whole last season was around him.
Right. Jonathan, not really any growth in Jonathan either.
He was there a little more.
He was there a little more. It was interesting with him and Nancy, and he finally made the moves on her, which was good, but, you know, like, what did he really do?
Well,
I mean, I thought it was really cool that you got to see him not be able to see his brother in pain at the end, when he was, like, hugging Nancy because he couldn't bear to hear him say, like, I'm hurting, you're burning me. He, like, couldn't handle it.
That was sad.
That was sad.
He really loves Will.
Yeah, he loves his brother, which was precious. Joyce was awesome. She's such a badass.
Yeah,
like, she was like, everyone's like, Joyce is crazy in season 1, and then this one you're like, she's a little overprotective, but there's a reason.
Yeah, no, she's loud.
yeah, but she has, like, original ideas. I think she makes sound, wise decisions when it comes down to it for the safety of her children. And she's a little crazy. when she needs to be,
But
but she
in a good
gets the job done,
Yeah.
which is what I like about Joyce.
What is wrong with my boy?
I loved Bob.
I called the
Yo, okay. What about the fact that they bring in, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, I'm sorry, man, Sean Austin? Anyway, basically, Goonies kid, okay? This is the coolest thing that they could have done. They bring in, like, the star of the Goonies, basically the Mike of the Goonies, and they bring him and let him be an appearing character in this season as Bob, someone who's, like, really excited to go on adventures and never does. Basically the same character as from the Goonies, except, like, it's like if the character from the Goonies grew up and never really achieved anything with his life, but he was still really smart and really awesome.
I didn't like him. I thought he was...
She really didn't.
I thought he was suspicious.
She did. I mean, I kind of did too. We were kind of like, is he too nice? No, he was just really sweet.
He was
wasn't too
really
nice.
nice.
He was just really precious and smart, and he ended up solving a lot of problems. I thought Bob was precious.
I was glad they killed him.
Yeah. 11's character development, she probably had the most.
I was
11
so
and also the cop.
I was really glad for more focus on 11. Their relationship was really cute.
Yes, her and the cop was adorable.
He definitely was like replacing his dead daughter with her.
Yes, but I think he kind of realized that and then realized that she also needed to be her own person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he tried to be a dad and then is like, I want to be your dad, but she's not the daughter I lost. That's what I think he kind of went through. And so it's like, I don't know, it was really good. I think they had some really awesome scenes, some really good acting between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the most impressive of this season. I'd say the most impressive was probably Joyce, Will, and 11 in the cop.
Will actually freaked me out in that last episode.
He did awesome. He did amazing. And you can't really say they had a character development because the whole time he was just like possessed. But that actor, he acted his ass off. He went to town.
That kid's great.
He's awesome. It was almost like, in this one it was like an adventure meets The Exorcist.
It was a lot more serious, yeah.
A lot more serious. So you kind of like the little exorcist element when he's like, oh, I'm actually a spy and I'm gonna like kill all of you.
That was interesting.
Right.
And the phone giving them away.
Right? That was so cool. I thought they had a lot of twists and turns in this season that were unexpected, that were nice. I feel like season 1 was a little predictable.
This one was a little predictable in some parts.
Some parts were predictable and some parts were surprising. It was really neat how they solved problems.
Like when the phone rang, I wasn't expecting that. I figured they would be setting up like base there for the rest of the season, honestly.
Yeah. And then the phone rang and everyone was like, oh my gosh! And Will was like, I know, yeah, I'm gonna send the demidogs. I'm gonna send the demidogs after you. Which was kind of cool. What?
Doug's Dimmadome.
I'm Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, owner of the Hawkins Demidogs. I'll send them after you in a split second with my
They get places fast.
with my blubber nuggets.
I know they have the whole underground tunnel thing, but they still get there really fast.
Well, girl, when you got nothing else to live for, you get somewhere fast too. I thought it was kind of cool, but I wish that they'd stop being like, you know what the solution to everything is? Let's go in the tunnels.
Yeah, they went in those tunnels way too much.
Yes, it's like, don't you think? It's kind of like if Nancy and Jonathan had been like, you know what we should do again? Go through this tree into the upside down 20 times and go find the Demogorgon by ourselves.
Yeah, like, no, I eventually kept saying, okay, why do they keep going here?
Right. Which is kind of stupid. But I mean, whatever, to each their own. Look at my hand now. I don't know if you can see this. It's because Ozzy loves me. So yeah, Elle had some awesome character development. I didn't really like her with, was it Collie?
Something like
Callie. Yeah, number 8.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna touch on that. Like, I really feel like the reason that they even had her go to those places and track Collie down was because she could have explored her anger in other ways. She could have explored her anger. I liked that she went and found her mom. I thought that was cool. But she definitely could have explored her anger in other ways other than finding this random girl, leaving Hawkins, which everything revolving around Hawkins as a town, I thought was the beauty of the show.
Yeah.
I thought, even though it's weird, keeping it in one location was kind of nice. And then they branched out to this random city And then all of a sudden, they've got the purge going on with everyone wearing masks. And all, like, the punk people being like, you're just a country girl in your overalls.
No, I liked the punk people.
Put some shoes on.
I liked the punk people.
But not in the context of the show.
I felt at home.
Yeah, I know, but I thought it was a little unneeded, because what you want in the show is a bunch of people wearing plaid that go dig in the corn.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's what you want. You want homey... You know, I gotta be home before dark, before my mom calls me. You don't want, girl, let me shave half my head and rob this bank with you.
The season was very mature compared to the last one.
Definitely, definitely. A lot more traveling. The world was broader. The world was bigger. There were more people, more characters, which was interesting. I liked that they made it bigger. But I didn't like that they went outside of Hawkins. Basically, we didn't like Collie. We thought that it was a little unneeded. Interesting backstory, but unneeded as far as the flow of the show, except unless they're going to bring her back. If not, it was an entire episode that I thought was pointless.
They better bring her back.
It was a little pointless, other than to give you the split second when Elle is, like, battling the portal, where she's like, I can focus my anger! And you're like, you could have done that without this entire episode. Be mad!
If she had just went to her mom's
Yeah.
and seeing that story,
She was already angry.
that's already going to make you angry.
And she could have tapped into that and, like, found that on her own. She's a smart little cookie.
But hopefully they'll bring her back and we'll get the point. It'll be cool.
Get the point of why they did that, and maybe it'll actually make sense. I mean, and the way that they kind of resolved everything, I felt like it was a really good way to wrap up the season.
Yeah.
Grouping off everybody. Jonathan and Nancy kind of have their stuff figured out a little bit, which was nice, instead of leaving us like, what's going on? Lucas and Maxine was kind of, eh. And again, what was up with Maxine? We kind of touched on this. We kept thinking there was going to be something supernatural going on with her and her brother.
Yeah, like,
it was
why
set
is
up
her
really
brother
weird.
such a jerk?
It was set up really weird.
We still don't know.
More Steve development? I don't know. But it was set up really weird, and so we were kind of like, you could have just had Maxine had a brother that was a bully. You didn't need to give in this whole domestic abuse angle.
Yeah.
Unless that's going to come into play next season as well. It might. No, it was good. I would say it's definitely worth it to watch.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
Definitely watch it. Definitely worth it. It's darker, so be careful, I would say, with your kids, especially if they're prone to nightmares.
Yeah, don't watch it with the kids.
Or at least, like, late at night. No, I know some kids that could handle it, but I think it depends on the kid.
I think...
Like, I would have been
the
fine.
last episode or two get a little...
See, I would have been completely fine watching it when I was younger. But I know some kids that would not.
Just the last episode or two. It's a little more intense.
A little bit more intense, but it's not too bad. I saw a lot worse. I thought the fact that they brought Sean Astin was brilliant and a great marketing ploy. Not too long of a season, which was nice. I felt like they weren't, just trying to make money off of it.
We were able to watch it all in one day.
We watched it all in one day, and so it kind of felt like we were just watching a really good movie. Not as light and airy and fun as season one.
It wasn't as painful to watch as it should have been. You know how when you're binging a show normally, like,
that's true.
5 episodes in, you're kind of done.
It was easy to watch it.
Yeah.
It was easy to spend, like, all day.
Like, we weren't taking breaks. We just kept going.
Yeah, we just kept going. It was easy to watch, but it still didn't have the nostalgia of the first season. It was still good. And again, I feel like the first season was kind of giving us that nostalgia to keep us watching. I mean, as well as, like, the plot was good, but I feel like it was like, if you combine it with the nostalgia, you'll get people staying here.
They did bring in more D&D lore.
That's true.
They brought in the, I don't remember what it was called, but the big thing that was in the sky.
The flare?
Yeah, Mind Flare?
Mm-hmm.
Something like
Mind
that.
Flare.
Flare.
Pretty cool.
That was what it was.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, as far as, like, plot devices go, they made it their own, but in doing so, the way they handled it, they lost a little bit of the innocence of season one, which is okay, because these kids aren't kids anymore, they're coming into adulthood, so I feel like it reflected that.
I mean, what they went through is gonna make you grow up.
Yeah, so I feel like it definitely reflected it. There was still a little bit of that childhood feel to it. There was still innocence, and I appreciate that.
They tried to go back to normal, but it's hard when you go through something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Will definitely just never really got to get a break.
Yeah, please, season 3, guys.
Now, be easy on Will.
Leave him alone. Or to make him a villain, or leave him alone.
Guy.
Kill him, or leave him alone. Like, seriously,
I don't want
make
her
up
to
your dang
suffer
minds,
anymore.
right? Yeah, I mean, character development, there was some of it was good, some of it was kind of weird and random, and we felt like it was just kind of fan servicey, but not too much. I mean, overall, it's pretty much, it gave me what I wanted. I'm gonna say it satisfied that Stranger Things itch that's been in my soul for like a year.
They didn't mess it up.
They didn't mess it up at all. I think, but I really hope that they don't go past like 3 or 4 seasons.
I think 3 seasons is like the perfect number.
I agree.
After
I feel like
that, you need
3
to
would be
stop.
good. I feel like 3 is good. 3 would put everybody where they need to
Because
be.
once you start getting past that, you're just kind of like throwing a dart at a piece of newspaper to see what you're going to do
Then you're going
next.
to be in Lost territory, and I
Yeah.
feel like Lost went on way too long. So. But yeah, overall, I mean, what would you give it out of a 10?
9.
You give it a 9?
I really like Stranger Things. So.
I really like it too, but I'd probably give it like a 7. The last season, I probably would have given an 8 or a 9, definitely.
If it can keep my attention all day, it gets a 9. Because I'm very picky about what I'm watching.
See, I'd give it maybe 7.5. I'll give it a 7.5. Because it didn't ruin it, and it did have a really original take, which I thought was good.
It was nothing like we'd seen before.
I don't understand. 11 what? She always did.
Overall, yeah. So if you guys want to go see it, I mean, you just click onto your Netflix and go watch it. Hopefully we didn't spoil too much.
You can use my Netflix account.
No, don't give Anyway, so thanks for tuning in, guys, and you can check out Heather's channel down below.
People that don't subscribe to me drink loser juice.
They drink loser juice. Yeah, subscribe to her and go check out her stuff. She does a lot of streaming, different games. I bet she would play something that you asked her to if you were kind enough.
I would
know?
if I have it, sure.
Yeah. And you can also find us on our Discord, link down below. You know how to find us, and you know how to get a hold of us. Anyway, guys, it's Windham
And Heather.
Whoop whoop. So anyway,
And we have Ozzy back here.
And Ozzy back here. Anyway, see you guys next time.